statistics, which is I heard from Jerry James last week. You always hear that maybe like 10%, 20% of the top agents do about 80 to 90% of the work. You kind of hear that often. Well, before the settlement, the NAR settlement, that the top producing agents, the 10% of the premium crop of agents, were doing 24% of market share. You guys know what it is now? 42.6. So I just want you guys to understand that about the numbers. We have some brand new agents in there. We have some agents who have been in the business a long time that were mentors to me for years and years ago. But I just want you to know that if we don't position ourselves now to be able to get that market share, I don't know how many people do we have in PCAR, like 38? 4,000. I just, ChatGPT told me that Placer County sold 3,800 homes, where we closed last year, so it's about maybe 40 of us in here, so we have about, what do we have, a couple hundred each that we can go after, right? So that's what we want. So it's about getting your market share. It's about going out there. There's plenty of business. People ask me all the time, why do I share my secrets? Because I want you guys to succeed. I can't control the whole entire market. I can't sell everyone. You guys actually, there's plenty of people to be able to elevate the service all the way around of all the agents, affiliates, whatever it might be, to be able to help and assist. Because I know Tom Ferry says that agents with structured schedules are 70% more productive. Now, if you look at that really carefully, we can't quite see that. That right here that says procrastinating, and this over here says distracting others. This is how much work that we get done right there. Okay? So it's about, is real estate always fun?
No. It's a blast.
It's a blast. We went and saw the movie Snow White this week. You guys seen that yet?
No.
Okay, they're when the dwarves all go out marching to work. I went to them and told Chester, this is like, they're all like super excited to go to work. They're super excited to go home. They're super excited to go back to work. And that's kind of like when we wake up in the morning. I feel it's a privilege. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just going out and helping others and be able to giving service to people is how I really feel to that. So how to sell it? This is some new statistics as well, but how do buyers and sellers find you as an agent? Because that's changed. Online. Do you remember that we used to sit in floor time? Those who have been in the business a long time, and I built my business on floor time. Can you build your business on floor time right now? No. But you can build your business while you're sitting on floor time, doing other things that are productive, other than solitaire and some other things, doing productive work. But this was interesting because 9% people find you because of personal friends. If you're a friend, they'll find you on that. 34% are referred by a friend, so that's still pretty high. Remember, it used to be like 70%, kind of referral kind of base. 6% is where you live. So I want you to go, get buy 10 houses, and you live in there once, and then really get through, they get to know more people. But this is where the bigger change is. And I think because of the new statistics of what I shared in the beginning, I really feel that this number is declining. And that people are actually searching for real estate agents, searching for affiliates, searching for lenders, whatever it might be online. So how are you positioned? Poorly? Good. My daughter just got her real estate license. I don't know if I shared that with you. So she's in the Salt Lake City area, and so I gave her this tip. I said, you need to go get your reviews, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit now about getting your reviews up to where they need to be. And she got her first Google lead that called her because she had some reviews on that, which was kind of fun. So we're going to kind of share that a little bit. And 15% now through some type of quality piece, marketing, something on social media, some kind of mailing, something. How does your marketing look? How does that look to you? A lot of us have certain superpowers, right? We can have a superpower on something, but we got kryptonite like crazy on a lot of other stuff. And so we need to find a superpower, build on that, and then increase, from there. Because today we're going to talk about, because sometimes, as a new agent, it's a fire hose. And I talk fast, and I think I have 86 slides, so we're going to go for it here. So it's going to be fun. But we're just ordinary people with extraordinary habits. You know that my wife, when we first got married when I was 16, she goes, you have low self-esteem. I had to go, I couldn't look that word up because we didn't have Google. I'm like, what is low self-esteem? And she goes, well, and I didn't like to go out and talk to people. I didn't like to go visit. I just wanted to kind of, hang out, just kind of like not go anywhere. And so she wanted to always go places and socialize, and I just didn't want to do that. So I was probably less than ordinary. But she saw some good things in me, and so it was great. But it was just finding these extraordinary habits. So first, what I want you guys to do is understand that your reviews and everything right now are super critical. How many people have received a lead by a Google, Yelp, Zillow, Realtor.com? You know, these are options, and these are places where all of your profiles need to look the same. So it needs to have the same picture, the same look, the same color, the same design. Everything needs to be the same. So that's what I tell people first. I told my daughter, says you need to get all of that lined up, and you need to go get, because you haven't sold a house, you're brand new, right? But you need to get credit, kind of credit reviews. There's some, wherever you came from, you have a bunch of friends, family, people, relatives, whatever it might be, get a character review. Go to Google and say, I haven't spoken to you in a long time, or I'm getting into real estate. I'm super excited about this. I know we've known each other for a long, long time, and I know you like me, and I know we haven't sold a house, but when you buy your next house, I would love to be an agent of choice. I've got to drop that in there because you're asking for business. But at the same time, do you mind going on to Google and giving me a character review? You don't need to say I'm giving Eric a character review. You're just saying I've known Eric does that, he's this or that or that. So it's getting that set. So how do you get those? You go to all of the people, just agents in here have closed homes, and sometimes you send out, you ask them a dozen times. So I'm going to tell you ideas on how to leverage that to be able to get those reviews, because you need those reviews. Now you can see, if you Google right now, top agents in Auburn. Do you guys know who pops up? Tyler pops up. Tyler pops up. Okay? So he pops up there. Several of us pop up there. But you got to get there. Now you might have 5 reviews. You can pop up top if you got 5 reviews, or if you got 100 reviews. You've got to. But the interesting part is, if you look at some of the other people, they're like in South Sacramento, popping up as top agent in Auburn. Like, what are they doing there? But the consumers don't know that. I got 2 leads brewing right now, because if you go up to Tahoe and you say top agent in Tahoe, guess who pops up? I pop up. I haven't sold a house in Tahoe for a long time, but I got 2, and I just refer that business out to individual people, because I'm positioning myself in the areas surrounding me in different counties to be able to get those lead calls when they come in. And then you just promote your partner in business, who's somebody that you're referring that over to in Tahoe or wherever it might be. So it's actually getting and setting this up where you actually need to set up links. You set up hyperlinks, and you send that to your clients. He goes, I know we sold a home several years ago, and I know that I had sent out a review. You don't remember if you did or not. He said, I asked for a review, I sent out a review, whatever it is, and I don't recall that you did. Or what I do now is I actually say, I know you sent me a review 18 years ago when we sold a house, but I really like another one. Do you mind giving me another one? And so it just kind of builds your reviews up there. If you look at where my reviews are compared to others, I'm going years to where people have like 200, 300 of these things. So that's really important. Just setting up these hyperlinks and be able to do that. Yelp's a different story. Yelp does not allow you to do a link. So do not send a link, because I think I got 140 something beautiful reviews on Yelp, but we will not publish them. Because maybe it's through a link, maybe it's because it wasn't organic, maybe because whatever their algorithms are, they're so beautiful. But I go see those reviews, and I take those, and I go put them on Realtor.com. So Realtor.com, you can actually put any review on there. You can put reviews. Zillow, you have to buy, sell, or rent something. So it does not allow you or a client to go do that, but you can do the rest on there. So that's really critical and important. Because 72% of the time, whoever's the first one is going to get them. Like last night, I called up, got the lead. It was like 8:30. Oh, I'm on the phone. I said, "Oh, thank you, but we already listed with somebody." I said, I just got the lead, like right now. So I have this conversation with them, in a polite way, of course. And they said, "Oh, it was somebody I was working with." And then one lady says, "Well, I think we found somebody. We're actually in escrow." That was in escrow, right? I can't mention other people's companies, but it's escrow. All right, so just happened escrow. She said, "Well, we're already good. Thank you very much. I think we're good." Now that's what they do, right? When you guys walk into a store and you know you're looking for something, right? A set of shoes, whatever you're looking for, and somebody comes up, "Can I help you find something?" And you say, "No, I'm good. I'm just looking." Well, no, you're not. You're actually looking for a pair of shoes, So you kind of like think a little bit. You say, I just want you to know that I promise you that it wouldn't be disappointing. It wouldn't disappoint you if you actually met with me. I said, "Oh, thank you, but we'll let you know that I'm gone home. I just did a little text video, so I just want you to know that I really would like to meet with you, because wouldn't it be just smart to get a second or third or fourth opinion?" And then she texts me and goes, boy, why don't you call me? Boy, you're persistent. Why don't you come tomorrow? So I'm sorry, whoever I took that listing away from, whoever's in this room, is actually it's a little further away. But anyway, so you just have to be persistent, right? Because that's what you have to do. Just because somebody tells you kind of like, hey, maybe I'm already going a different direction, get deep a little bit and find out what direction. Because you're educating them. If you show that you're educating them, then it's important. So you guys need to get like a Google pop-up card. You guys ever seen one of these little guys right here?
No.
They're about $25 online. Just Google pop-up card, and then it actually puts your Google little your link into this card, and all I have to do is go on this, tap it. I could go walk around and get 15 reviews, but you guys probably wouldn't want to do that. But I could tap it on the back of your phone, and then it actually logs up, and it logs in, and they can give me a review right there. So this is where when you're talking about some parties and customer appreciation parties, I've had 7 women doing the pedicures for Mother's Day, and we're going to do it again, and they're all sitting right there with a little charcuterie board, a little cheese, a little drink, and so they're just pampering them. It's really fun, and some of my clients. And what do? I walk it up, I tap it back. I said, why you guys are just sitting there? There's nothing really else better to do than to chat with everybody. So why don't we some of them gave me reviews, some of them I sold 9 houses to with all their family members. So you just have to leverage that. You're leveraging getting those reviews, having some kind of like that. I wasn't on the right way. Okay, this is.
How are you doing?
There you go. Like this card, because if you get like an Instacart that has all of you guys have an Instacart? If you guys don't have an Instacart, get an Instacart because that will have breaks down and puts all your social media, puts everything on there, gets everything, they can see everything, and then you just like send that to them, and it just shows up, it has a picture of you, it says thank you so much for chatting with me, and then they can click on it and they can see more about who you are. So having that is good. I used to have a doc card too, where you could tap the back of that too, but now I just have an Instacart, and I just hold the QR code and they just take a picture of it, and it automatically goes in, and then they can save that as a client. So if you're with people and you're like, I can give you a card, and it's like, wow, I have this thick card, and people always look at this, and that's nice. And then where the card's from, I don't know where it went, but now I basically take it and I say, well, why don't we connect right now on our phone? And I can show them the QR code, they connect on it, and I go, okay, let's save with some agents, and now you have me, so when you see a home or you go to an open house, you can actually show them that we actually have this agreement together, and you're mine. So when you kind of want to have that conversation, you want to lock them in, because the whole entire time you're doing transactions, you're getting soft finance. Wow, I feel this is great. Thanks so much for, visiting with me. I love showing this home. I feel that we have a really great rapport. Is that something you feel the same? And you said, that's great. I would love to, to work with you to find you a home, or I'd like to work with you of selling your home. Would you like to get started?
Yeah.
So you need that.
Is it with Instacart?
Yeah, you careful, you might shop at Target.
Yeah, the way it's like Instacart is coming up.
Instacart.
There it is.
Yeah, Instacart.
Insta. By Realtor.
Yeah, it's good. All right, make sure, again, we talked about this before. How many people were here in January? We talked about goals and stuff. Oh, a bunch of new people too, about 50%. So sometimes you're a brand new agent, you are like, you'll remember your first transaction?
I do.
Yeah, I remember. It was a hot mess. It was crazy. So, but you feel like you're just drowning. You're like, how am I going to do this? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And then finally you get pulled up onto a boat, and you have to find a mentor or something, or you have some system put in place. And so you're like, then you're like, okay, now I don't have the oars in my boat. Now you got another system, and now I got a TC. Now you can start paddling a little bit. Okay, now I got a little knowledge behind me. And then you get a system of a sail. You get a sail, and all of a sudden you get more sails, and all of a sudden the boat just kind of goes. I was telling a group earlier last week that I kind of feel bad a little bit because for the brand new agent, which I was there, and I was suffering trying to get new business, but right now it just comes to me because of the business and the time that I put into it. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I sit there and go, this is not fair. And then like my assistant goes, you're crazy, because I'll get like 4 listing appointments in like an hour's worth of time, and because they're just calling me. Like I got 2 more this morning that I have no idea who they are. They just says, we'd like to meet with you and come sell my house. And so it's like, I don't know who they are, but they just come. But it's because of the work and the systems, because I don't know who they are, but my systems know who they are. And so they're finding me online, they're finding my systems, and they're communicating, talking. I showed a house on, I think, Monday, and I showed a house, and the lady says, oh, you're just so nice, you're the best real estate agent I've ever had. You're so communicative. I saying, thank you so much, Mona. That's great, but I didn't do it, but the system is doing it. So she thinks that I'm just like this great communicative agent, which is great, but it's my system doing it. You see, we're going to talk about those a little bit too. Because some of us have pillars of perfection. You could walk into a listing presentation and say, I got this. You feel confident? You don't feel confident going into a listing presentation. You need to do a little bit more work, a little bit more preparation, which I'm going to share with you right here too. Some of us feel like, you know, I need clients. You're a brand new agent. I just need clients. I'm desperate for needs of clients. Some people, that doesn't like to work. Sometimes maybe this is my big fat thumb. But anyway, but I have clients that I have no time, and I have clients that I need ideas of what to do with them. There's 3 ways you can wait for your business. Floor time used to be that way. They just wait and they would just come in. Can you imagine brand new agents sitting in the floor time? You have 3 leads all in there at the same time, and you're, oh yeah, look at that brochure over there. Okay. Oh hello, welcome in. I'll be right with you. Can you imagine that? That's what it was. But now it's like, but you don't maybe do income producing activities while you're there on floor time. Because I do hear people. There was somebody the other day, and this brand new agent got a really nice $1 million house, and that's really good floor time. Mm-hmm. You can pay for it. I'm not a big fan of paying. You know, I used to pay like $10,000 a month to Realtor.com or Zillow or something. And actually the income was actually coming in really nice. There was a lot of chasing. So I don't want to chase anymore. I want people to chase me. Or you just make it happen. You know, make it happen, climb the mountain and do it. I'm going to show you how to double your income without getting another lead. Interested?
Yeah.
All right. 90% of our leads, I'm sorry to tell you this, never convert to anything. That's kind of crazy. 90%. So, like, you know, how you leverage that? I was in contract, got into contract, and then insurance came about, and then they backed out within 3 days. But he said, Derek, we really like you. We're probably going to stay put right now. So what do? I said, leverage that. Do you mind doing me a review? How many reviews I have of people I've never sold a house to? How many people that come through town and say, well, I'm going up, I'm going to go to Reading next, I'm going to go up to Oregon next, I'm going to let's make phone calls. You know, do you have an agent that's working that? No, I don't. So, you know, I've got some people, I got a great network, and I'd love to connect you with somebody. Because if they're not going to buy a house with me, I want them to buy a house with that person. So I'm going like 3 or 4 up the hill and getting agents and then just getting referral checks. Mm-hmm. You could get $30,000, $40,000 of referral checks with maybe showing 1 or 2 houses and never buy from me, but you're still getting paid for your valuable time. Because guys, we work for free until we're volunteers. You know, it's horrible. We do all this stuff, and that's what close or cancels at the very end. And it's like that was all for free. So yes, the Google review and the Yelp review and stuff are that's good. At least it gives you something to be able to have if they end up not buying. But guys, conversion rate. I don't know. Everybody know what your conversion rate is? Good, bad, medium. You probably don't know it for a number unless you really took and calculated it out. I got like 13,000 people in my database. I could calculate that, but it'd be a little scary to take some time. Maybe ChatGPT might be able to tell me that. But the average right here is like 0.04 to 1.2. That's an average. You know, most people are, if you're a really good agent, you're 3, 4, 4.5%, for conversion rate. But what makes you good at converting is speaking to people. You know what my wife always tells me? And it kind of annoys me a little bit, but I think she's so right. What?
Pick up your socks.
Close. But you know what she does? She goes, because what's so beautiful how we get a lot done, she's now my driver. I drive, or she drives, and then I'm just sitting in the seat, just doing offers, recording videos, and just drive. It's beautiful. So I don't know why we didn't do that sooner. But I know why. There's 4 kids, 5 kids screaming in the back. But the deal there is though is that she says, she goes, I'm just texting and I'm just sending emails. She goes, just pick up the phone. Remember we talked about that a couple months ago? Pick up the phone. Some of you guys actually shared with me of some successes that you guys had because you picked up the phone. And you guys called me the day that I came and spoke and said, hey, I I pick up the phone. I got a job. Why are we always so shy picking up the phone? We're going to talk about that. So conversion rate, let's increase that. Because you've got 80% of buyers happen between the 5th and the 12th contact. How many times do we call somebody and call somebody and call somebody, they don't pick up the phone, and about 3-4 months later you drive by and there's somebody else who's signing up front? Or how many times does the buyer say, I'm not working with anybody, and then you go show them, and then they say, well, I'll give the information to my agent, and we'll get back to you. So, people always, buyers just aren't, they don't understand. It's the education. But it's about, you have your systems in place, because if you get 5 new leads this week, and you call them for the next couple weeks, and they don't respond to you, and then what happens next week? You get 4 or 5 new leads, and the following week, 2 or 3 more come in. What happens to these people that are behind there? They're getting less and less attention because we're always like, new lead, I'm going over here, and I'm trying to attract them, right? Because what happens? You want to get to go where the business has the least resistance. They're come sell my house, and then you sign here. Oh, sure, you bet. I'll come right over. But if you're chasing somebody else, but if you are not working and prospecting and getting these other individual people and spending time trying, to get a hold of them, they're going to go somewhere else. So it's getting the systems in place. You guys have like databases and stuff that actually have drip systems that are going to go through. You got a drip, and you want to set it and forget it, which we're going to talk about that too. This was at a conference last week, which was at the Disneyland Hotel. It was amazing. And the party was actually in California Adventure. It never eaten so good. It was fun. But I just kind of took a picture of this on the screen and kind of came it together. But face to face, you've got this 33% opportunity. If they don't see you, they don't talk to you, then that's kind of a problem. Do you know what's probably a good 20% of my business I never meet the people? Because it's like, a second home or whatever they're doing, selling. But it's because they're seeing me because they're online. I have a gentleman that's coming from, he's coming from the Bahamas. Weird story. He's coming from the Bahamas in a certain occupation, and I just yesterday listed the house of the person that he's replacing, and we just put the things together. I had no idea. That was so crazy. Coast Guard. But he's like saying, you're famous in the Bahamas. Well, what are you talking about? Because of your videos. Well, that's fine. So it's kind of fun, but it's fun because you're out there. They get to see you. So a lot of times when you go and meet somebody, they don't say it's nice to meet you, because you might show them a house a year ago. So you just go, it's nice to see you. Okay, because I've done that before. He goes, Eric, we looked at houses a year ago. I was like, oh yes, that's right. Right. So, but that was interesting that you've got 15% if you're doing phone calls. If you're doing just mail only, that's not great, but there's a percentage. But if you're just emailing, just like prospect email without doing all these other things, look where the percentages go. So that's going to increase your follow. So you increase your percentage. So it's really important because a lead means it's supposed to lead to a transaction, not a lead me to this and lead me to that. I have a habitual buyer right now. I mean, how many times we signed our second buyer agreement, but it's like you just got to keep signing. That's getting really kind of fun and confusing. Make sure you have a database of all your people when they're expiring from their. We always do that. Like, this is my house, 6-month listing. I'm going to put this in my database. I better call them right now to renew my listing. But make sure that you're up to speed on where your buyers are now that we're getting into the second and third kind of 3 months on that. Just don't let that expire and all of a sudden they're not buying and showing that at home. So it gives you an opportunity to talk to them. So be patient, be persistent, but keep talking to them. Well, we need to be a pro. All right, and this is a pro is that you feel right now negotiation is really important, more important than it's ever been in your business in your entire life. Why is that? Because the buyer's changed. Now you're after negotiating. Before you would just get a call from a Zillow lead and say, hey, go show me the home. You get in your car, you run over there, you go show it to them, you get a client. Now they're actually calling and interviewing you. I heard there were some changes, and so I'm going to need to interview 3 agents, and I want to know if we can sit down and chat for a few minutes. Are we going to have these consultations? If you guys aren't having buyer consultations, if they're not coming, you do it on Zoom. You do it on Zoom and you meet with them. It says, Colleen, what do you think you'd be coming up to Auburn to look at a house? And so she says, we don't have a trip plan. Okay, that's great. And when you get closer, we can set that up. But why don't we jump on a Zoom call? that we can actually get to know each other. I can show you, go over the buyer representation agreement. I can show you what it looks like to working with me. I can show you kind of where you want to be near targets. I can show you where you want to be, where the schools that you want to be, where the horse trails are, where the lakes are. Oh, that sounds great.
If you'll stop talking, I will say yes.
Yes, thank you. That's my problem. So what you're doing there is that the Zoom call, we'll spend 35 to 45 minutes, right? Because we're actually 10 seconds away from another escrow by about where I was around, because I sat there for 45 minutes on the phone with another buyer, and they lend to you. They're not going to go and call somebody else now because they feel they're committed to you. And then I said, great, here's the representation. I'll go ahead and send that for signature. I know you're not coming for another month or so, but I'll start getting, getting houses sent to you and da-da-da. We're going to work together. Do you feel comfortable with me? Yeah, I feel comfortable with you. Great. I haven't showed them a house yet. But because it's video, because you're 33% better opportunity because you're face to face. I may not be touching you, but I'm actually looking at you on the screen. Right? So that's important. So make sure that you're doing these buyer consultations. Because you're doing negotiation for yourself, you're negotiating for your client, because you've got, pay me as an agent, compensation, contracts. There's 35 negotiable items on the first couple pages on the car agreement. Who's going to negotiate that? You're going to negotiate that, right? I'm going to negotiate that. Price of the home, price adjustment, accepting offers, as is, and appraisal discrepancies, requests for repairs. Aren't they cute? But it's like riding a bike, right? Sometimes when you go to your first listing presentation, your first contract, and now you go to your 1,000 or whatever the number was, you feel a little bit more confident. It's like riding a bike. It's like swimming. It's got to be second hand. It's like, we don't have a problem eating. No, we eat. If we're hungry, we eat. If we want to go get a listing, we go find one. If all of a sudden you look at your bank account, you don't have any money, you go work harder, right? It just kind of happens. But you want to get there so you can kind of feel. So who would like to know what to say and exactly when to say it right there? Raise your hand first. Okay? All right, so this is Phil Jones. I have no affiliation with Phil Jones, but he is so amazing. But you can go back to his book right here and it says, let's see, you could say, if somebody says, like on a Zillow lead or Facebook lead, it says unresponsive, what do I do? And it gives you kind of what to say and what to say and little things. I mean, they're everywhere here. It gives you like role play. And this is basically a role playing of an opportunity to role play with yourself. And it actually gives you all the objections and everything to negotiate to be able to be a pro. Because if somebody comes and says, would you reduce your compensation? No.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So, because a lot of us will go, oh, sure. Yeah. You want 1.5%? Oh, yeah, we spend so much time vomiting all over the clients, and this is what I'm going to do for you, without listening to what they actually have to say. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to tell you how's this, I'm going to do that. Listen, I'm sorry, I apologize for not listening to you. But thank you for listening to me. But you want to say, because these are magic words in this book of just out of curiosity. I'm not sure if it's for you, but when would be a good time? Would you be open-minded? Would it help if? Before you make up your mind, what? I can only imagine what happens next, as promised, who you know. These are key secret words that he actually uses. And if you guys just go YouTube him, and it's amazing. You'll just be, I love his accent. He's just an incredible guy. And this book right here was written just for real estate agents, which was great, with Chris Smith and Jimmy Macklin. You guys know who they are. All right, I probably won't spend a little bit. That's my countdown right there. Oh, we have 4 more hours. This is great. All right, the market's changed. It used to be you had to get in front of them in person when they wanted to buy. Now you have to get in front of them when they want to learn. All right, so 3 to 6 months before they're ready to sell, 6 to 12 months before they're ready to buy. So how can you call them up and you say, hey, I just got your lead from Zillow. This is Eric Hatch. Love to connect with you. How many times do they ever call you back? Rare. It's rare. Because they probably called 3 or 4 other people, and so whoever gets the lucky person when they pick up, that's kind of where you want to be. So never give up. That's why I think it's really important to then grab your phone and say, hey, thank you very much. Because I had the president, the CEO of Mike Midler of Century 21 that sent me a video text and said, hey, just want to congratulate you for another successful year. So what did I do? Thank you. No, I just put another video, straight right back to him, so you get to know people. Because now in downtown Disney, you're like, hey, here comes Mike Miller, the CEO of Century 21. Oh, I just want to introduce my wife, introduce. And so now it's just because now you're friends. And the more friends you have, the more business you have. Okay, so that's important. All right, let's see. Because visibility trumps ability. It's a Jerry James quote. If you're not out there, brand new agents, they say, what do I do? Like my daughter, she's got the cutest videos about what to do in the life of a 21-year-old realtor. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to do a day in the life of a 56-year-old realtor. Maybe the younger agents who are doing that will laugh at this old man, which is kind of fun, but it's fun. But it's about visibility. She doesn't have, hasn't had a transaction yet. But she's out there doing open houses and recording it, social media, it's all there, she's getting her reviews, it's actually being visible is what you want to do. So let's talk about the scary thing. How's your database? I call it a data bank, right? How is that? How is your database? Because is your CRM in your head? Will you guys forget something? You guys forget anything every once in a while? All right? So your CRM, and I heard a statistic the other day at a conference, I can't remember what it was, but it was scary to know how many of the professional agents, how often they spend time in their CRM, and it wasn't enough. Never. So being in there, you guys need to be in there every single day, and that's hard when you get really busy. But it's either you're in there or somebody else is in there or an assistant's in there. But you need to be in there to making your calls and chatting with people every day. And it should be an hour to 2 hours a day. Does that sound crazy? Yeah. I mean, dedicating that to 2 hours is crazy. But if I dedicate 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 3 minutes, I think I shared with other people before, it's like my ISA, what I'll basically do is say, hey, let's book a time. And if she sits in front of me, we make the calls. If she doesn't sit in front of me, I'm calling her from her house and saying, let's jump on this. And my CRM, actually, she can hit a button, and it dials my phone, I can talk to them. Then we stay on, she just sits there and listens. Then I click, and then she hangs up, she calls another one, calls me another one, calls another one, and then while I'm driving. Okay? So that's important. It's just about making those phone calls and getting those done. Because, everyone goes into your CRM, but we don't spend enough time in it. So this is what I would challenge you to do. Because you can take 12,000 people and stick them in your CRM, right? How do you then manage 12,000 people? You divide them up in your database. You divide them up. You're going to have people who you feel that are going to be about to list. You're going to have people who are going to be you're showing now. You're going to have agents that are all over the country that you can refer to. You've got those because you're going to market there. You've got investors that you want to market to. These are different databases that you've got agents, past client. I don't really like to call them past client because it's just their client. It's not really past because they're yours. So you got your VIP elites. I got VIP elites. I got my VIP clients. VIP elite clients are people who actually refer me like almost on a monthly basis. And you better spoil them. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But you always have the tasks. I have like 36,000 tasks, I think, right now in my database right now. Daunting. You usually have 15 to 30 a day. But you got to get them done. So I do feel bad sometimes when my ISAs, I feel that all I pay her for is moving my tasks to the next day. So it's not good. Okay, especially when you're busy or you're out of town or something, but it's just getting those tasks and making sure you don't forget. And my favorite line on those words was as promised. I go, hey Jackie, thank you so much. I know we spoke 3 months ago, but as promised, as our conversation, we're happy to go. You wanted me to give you a call today, and how are things going? And I've been doing things like I talked to 2 people yesterday. Sorry, I didn't talk to them yesterday, but people I've had brewing for listings for like 2 years. And now when they call, and they go, now who is this again? You're in trouble. But if they go, oh Eric, how's this? How's your kids? How's your family? Now you're there. And so I just go, hey, John, I just want you to know that just checking in with you. Feel free. As promised, I'm just giving you a call every couple months. Feel free if you don't need me. Don't feel like you have to return the call. But if you would like or have any questions about what's going on with the real estate market, if you change your name, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to chat. If I don't hear from you, I know that everything's great and you don't need my services at the moment, but I'll give you a call in about 3 months. Thank you so much, and I hang up. Yeah, that's polite. You don't have to. Because if I sit there and go, John, never call me back. That's so rude. But at the same time, I'm giving him opportunity not to call me back because he doesn't really have to. He doesn't need me. Why is he going to waste his time? So I think it's a respectful thing. He's just saying, if you need me, I'm here. Okay? But when they do pick up the phone and they talk to you in person, they understand who you are. That's important. So prospect, break it down. Take 20 minutes. 20 minutes. You never have 20 minutes in a day? You can do that in 20 minutes. Okay? That's important. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Do you do also? I feel like right now in this industry, maybe perhaps the last couple of years, if you go back to basics and like do mail, I feel like I get much more response out of it with mail. Do you do mail?
We talked about that a couple days ago because on Tuesday for the Snow White movie, we invited 300 people to come to a movie, and I had like 17. Free movie, ton of movies. My response wasn't that great, but years ago we would do a golden ticket. We'd send out a movie invite with a little camera thing where it looked like a ticket to the movies and da. So it got more response. So we were discussing that it would probably be better to do that. Because what happens in your VIP clients is that you send them so much stuff, what do they sometimes do? Unsubscribe. So they go unsubscribe. And now what happens, I got a beautiful house, by the way, it's coming to the market over here, you guys want it. And the deal is that, what she said though, is that she said, can you set me up, because we're going to move to Sun City. And so I put her on a little link, because I'm not getting the houses, It's because she unsubscribed, a long time ago. So now you got this thing you got to get through. So you almost have to delete them all and put it back into your CRM system because they unsubscribed. So yeah, I think doing some mailing and stuff is important. Yeah, and I think just give them a call.
What do you use for your CRM?
I use Follow Box. No, Lofty. Sorry, used to be. Actually, so you just shook your head. Yeah, it's Lofty. It used to be Follow Box, and we moved to Lofty. But Follow Box is the one that's really good. They're about almost equal and the same, but my website people chose to go.
Follow Box was just bought by Zillow, just so everybody knows too. Follow Up Box was purchased by Zillow. So if anybody's using it, I don't know if you maybe want to switch to a new one. They said they are not taking people's information.
Is the enemy,
They do claim they weren't going to take information or sell information.
They're not known for that at all.
They did purchase the CRM.
How clever.
Great, but yeah, there's a lot of purchases going on right now. If you guys are watching what's happening. Jared James right here. This is a really good. Long. People always say that. Oh, I prospect. I eat healthy. I exercise. I think I embarrassingly told somebody the other day when at the end of the year, Peloton sends me a thing of congratulations on how many hours you rode. 2. 6 hours, 6 minutes, I don't know what it was. It's really nice, yes.
So I have a question for someone who's maybe newer. They don't have either a big database or they don't have leads or buying or selling houses that they know of. Who would they call, or what would you suggest that they're doing for that lead time? Just calling friends, like.
Instant everything. Yeah, call friends, call that. I really feel your best floor time is go to Starbucks, get a plastic sign that you can get from a title company, whatever, and just put on there that says, I'm a realtor, ask me a question. And if you do that like every Friday morning at the same time, they're going to see you, they're going to come and ask you a question. I mean, that's better floor time sometimes than sitting there. So just take your time. I don't want you guys to do anything new. Don't go out and say, I'm going to do social media, I have to go record this or that or whatever. If I'm sitting over at Deer Ridge and I'm taking a listing, while I'm throwing my drone up, I'm doing a little video on Deer Ridge while I'm there, because I'm already there and I can promote it. So, but I would say for a brand new agent, it's about just going to massive open houses, get open houses everywhere, but they need, like you could tell my daughter, she needs to go get 12 signs with her face on it, and she gets to put them out in the same neighborhood over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, that people are going to see because visibility. They're going to say they have no idea she hasn't sold a house yet, but they keep seeing her her for sale signs and her open house signs. They're going to call and circle prospect, beat the other agent. So if you sell a house in Barron and Loop or something, and I see that it's sold, and I want to go nurture that area, then I'm going to send and say, did you see what your neighbor? I know, but thank you for the opportunity. but at the same time, I'm going to circle prospect. I'm going to go, did you see what your neighbor did with their house? And they're going to postcard. And they're going to say, what did my neighbor? Everyone wants to know what their neighbor did, right? I mean, really, it's what it is. So, but I'm beating maybe Rocky to actually, I just sold a house, so I just listed a house. I'm also close, my areas, my zone, I'm actually doing some work there. So some direct mail pieces would be great as well.
And stay up.
What?
And stay up.
Yes. Right. So we talked about last time, this right here, I wanted to show. This right here, you guys want the best week ever, take that. That actually is a nice little piece of paper that I created that will actually log in of what prospecting you're doing, community events, and just be you. Go to community events, wear your tag, and just walk around. And if they say to you, how's real estate business? You gotta be careful what you say there, right? If I sit there and say, I'm super swamped, it's like, oh, so busy, it's crazy, they might have just were about to ask me to sell their house, but if Eric's so busy, then maybe I don't want to, go with him. But you say, this is a Tom Ferry line, you know what to say? Depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest? That's your go line right there. And then if they say, well, I'm looking to sell my home. Oh yeah, market's great, I'd love to come and visit with you. But you got to know what they want before you can actually help them. So you don't want to say, oh, it's super slow, I'm desperate for, so you got to be careful what you say. So you got to find the balance. So, but if you actually come in and actually check and say, did I ask for a referral today? Anybody ask for a referral yesterday? How many lenders do we have in the room? Some lenders? You guys call me and say, you guys are very respectful, which is great, but there are other lenders that I don't know that actually call me like constantly, asking me for business. But I say, well, there's people who are in line, the people that I see, most of my lenders, they're people in here. They're people that I reach out to because of relationships. Don't just call me because you're in Sacramento, see my numbers that are really good, but at the same time, why don't you call your lender and go, is there anybody that maybe called you this week that needs, if I was brand new, I'd be doing that all day long. Somebody stands up in this room, I'm a brand new agent, and a brand new home inspector stands up because I'm new to the area, I'm a brand new agent, I'm connecting right now. Because now I'm building a relationship. Because you guys should have 6 to 10 houses a year that you should be getting from your vendors. Their referrals, their friends, their family, themselves. I mean, dozens of houses I've sold because of my relationships. And the interesting thing is that Cheryl has a lot of friends in real estate. And it's hard for her to go, who do I pick to sell my house? Because I'm like friends. It's hard. But you can be the best friend. All right, remember we talked about 555, calling people, making contacts, follow-ups, 5 personal calls, 75% of the income producing activities. Don't be busy just because you're busy. Okay? Make sure you're doing something that is actually productive. I'm going to talk about a system in just a minute. So I use BombBomb. There's Drive. If you guys don't have Google Drive and have spreadsheets galore, you guys need to have that. If you guys aren't counting your numbers, because I'm one ahead of the first quarter of last year. One ahead. So that's good. So that means I sold 2 houses. I'm excited. Bye-bye is like calling 5 people, reaching out to 5 people, and just taking 5 people that you don't know, 5 people that you have in your database that maybe have come in last week or the week before, and 5 people that are your past clients. Okay, people that are your VIP people that you can just call them up and they know you by name, that they're going to refer you. I've had a lady, Susan's her name, and I think she's referred me to 6 different people, and she's never sold a house with me before. Okay? I think I said her in here before, but we're actually escrow closes today, and they're the number 4 police officer group from the Bay Area of friends that have all come in the last 3 years. So what do? You have a party with just those 4 people. You invite them over to dinner, you invite them, and then you just that train keeps coming. Okay? So that's important. So just setting yourself up, BombBomb. I don't know if you guys use Box Brownie for some photography, HomeBot. Those are things I use. Okay, because I type this. What is the system? You can hand it to someone, get predictable results regardless of personality, regardless of what the market. So a system, just give it to someone. You guys just delegate. How many people are afraid to delegate a file to a TC? Or a file to somebody else. So it's kind of daunting. That's why I've never really had a buyer's agent, because it's like, you're not like me. How do I trust you that you're going to say and do the things that I do? So it's interesting. But eventually I will do that. We're taking applications. Not taking. But it is important because it's just delegate. Delegate that so you can actually do more business. Because in 1995, when Herb and I were doing real estate, and he was up there getting all these awards and stuff, I'm like, wow, he's so cool. So I want to be like him. But you couldn't sell very many houses in 1995 with a pager. paper. You just couldn't. And now, how many new systems that come up every single week you're seeing that somebody's calling you about a new lead system or, buy my referrals or do this and that. It's like, it's crazy. It's overload. It's super overload right now. So BombBomb, Loom. I don't have an affiliation with BombBomb, but if you want to sign up for a free trial, use that right there, and they might give you a month free or something they give me. But I love it. I've had BombBomb since the very creation beginning because it kind of sets yourself apart. There it is. There's about body language, 7% words, tone of voice. Body language is really critical. So if you guys aren't sitting there in the video, this is a buyer consultation that we kind of shared about the importance of just having that communication, sharing things. You'll set yourself apart. This is what you first-time home buyers, first-time home sellers. I don't have time, guys, to actually sit down. I mean, I will. If you want to buy a house, I will sit down and go over for 2 hours the disclosures if you wish. Or go over an hour and a half with the offer if you wish. I always tell them that. At the same time, I'll do a 10-minute video and go over the disclosures, go over the offer, and then 5 minutes later, I get it back signed and DocuSign. Because I don't want to do, you can't. Now you can if you only want to do 5 or 6 or 12 houses a year, great. That's totally fine. You can do totally paper, do whatever you want to do.
You just put those on a memory stick and give it to them? Or
No, what I do is, some people can. I customize it. There are certain things I set and forget, but I'll just get on there and I'll say, I just wanted to go over the disclosures. But they're their disclosures. So if I got disclosures from you on a house, I can't make that just generic and say, here's a TDS, please look at all the yeses and nos and let me know what you think. I'm kind of going through and going, now look, here are all the no's, you're super welcome to go look at all the no's, but I actually like to look at the yeses because they're disclosing something to us on the yes. So I'll go down with them. Sometimes it's the first time I'm actually looking at them as I'm recording. Because I can spend 5 minutes going over it, but no, I go live. And I just go over it and go, okay, now see this right here? You got to be careful with your voice. Oh my gosh, look at this right here. But I just want to point out to you that this right here is a yes with water intrusion under your home. So we're going to have to investigate that. Go to the next one. Well, here's a yes, CCNRs, you'll get copies of those, and go to the yes. And so I do that. I go over with my offer. I'll go, this is the first time home buyer. What do you got? Where are we at right now, guys? I don't know, 20-something pages of stuff. And they have no idea what it is. And so I say the word repeat when it comes to agency. I'll go over agency. What if your client lost a bunch of money because of wire fraud? And I spend at least 30 seconds to a minute going over if this is what wire fraud is, if this is what we're doing. Now it's recorded. Now they can't come back to me and go, hey, you didn't tell me about wire fraud. Why don't I do this right here? Rewind. Not that I would point to them.
Does that happen to you?
No. But there's other things. Registered sex offenders, different things on Megan's Law and stuff that I spend a little bit more time because of experience of an issue of this, and so I spend time doing that. But it's important to set yourself apart. How many people would know you have a home right now that is overpriced? And they need to like lower it. I've got one. Okay, so right there, you know how to get a good, quick price reduction? You open up the MLS. You actually go active. You search the active homes of the competition of your home. You take the next tab of the pending ones, of just that have gone pending in the last 2 weeks from when you did the last video, and you go sold, and you say this is what sold in the last 2 weeks, then sent my last video. And then you open up, I love the new, there's a few things I like about the new MLS, but this one I do like. The gallery view actually has more pictures, and you can then just go and I get on the BombBomb, I record it and say, I just want to let you know, here's our competition. We're at 37 days on market. Look at the 2 new listings that just came on the market. Because they may have been looking, but they may not see it, so I'm giving it to them and saying, now here are all the houses that have gone pending. Here are the homes that have sold. And then let's say, because I'm meeting with somebody at Starbucks in a few minutes, but here on that one, it's like they're all 720, 710, and 700, and we're at 748. So then now I can say, look, if the ones that have sold are at this price, or the ones that are pending are a little bit lower, or zero. Because I want to show them that don't be afraid, Mr. Seller, nothing's gone pending. So you have lost a buyer. Because they're all sitting there going, Eric's not doing a good job, why is my house not selling? It's like, because nothing is sold in our price range in Colfax at this little section, other than if somebody got a pending sale in Meta Vista, which is great, congratulations, that's good. So that's I'm going to share in a minute. But then you can see that. So I suggest that these other sold houses right here are a little bit less. Maybe that's the market pricing that I need to be because these 2 other ones just went that sold at the price that are below us. I'm suggesting that we do a 20% price adjustment. What do you think? And 5 minutes later, I get a call, says, thank you for the video, let's go ahead and lower the price. Okay, instead of me going, I'm going, okay. Face to face, yes.
So every seller has the yeah buts, right? Yeah, but my house is different. That house is on this. I have this. I have you. I have how do you address that? They always think their house is better than
Yeah, but you don't have an offer.
Yeah.
No, I would suggest it. I look at my worst seller right now, you guys. I know we're recording. Mom, how are you? You know, I think, Mom, don't be one of those sellers. And I told her, I said, look, you built the house the way you wanted to build it. You put a $400,000 pool in there where most people might have put a $200,000 pool in and super okay with it. You built it the way you want it. That doesn't mean that a buyer is going to feel that they want to pay $2.4 million when technically it's probably only worth $1.9 million. Hence the offer that we got from $1.9 million, Mom, a couple of months ago, and we didn't take it. Remember that offer? The one that we should have taken, that was all cash, that we didn't take? That's why I kind of tell her to say that, that the buyer is going to dictate where the market's going to be. And so if the buyer, I know your house is worth every rent, I'd like to let the seller know, I love your house. It's a great house. It's worth every penny. You could not rebuild this house with today's codes and building and costs and everything. But that's not where the buyer is wanting to pay. So we can sit here for months and take the house off the market in a few more months because we're not in the price point. Or we can take it off the market and wait for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years and hope the market goes up to be able to be where you feel you need to get. Or we can price it where it needs to be, where the buyers feel it's going to be, and then you can move to where you're taking your daughter where you want to go. And I always come back and pinpoint without exactly why they want to go. Okay? All right. 9 minutes. All right. Making daily contacts important. Time blocking. We shared that. This is my calendar. When the dermatologist, which I just got shot up and froze all over the place the other day. You know what? Actually, if you it's $175 for one freeze, but they'll do 14 for the same price. But in time blocking, so when she said it's like, let's book you for a year, this is what my calendar looked like a year from now. Because it's time blocked already. Right? So you got to time block that. So she looked and she goes, well, you're already busy, and 1 year from now? I said, no, this is my calendar, because it's time blocked. But having, these are videos, these actually brought out, I do these videos, so just like client birthday videos and stuff, and things that you actually do. I went to Chevy's, we had Chevy's long time ago here, and I got all the people around me going, happy birthday, blah, 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 and then they gave me a free dessert, so I recorded that. That was my year birthday video that I sent out to everybody who had a birthday, was that video. So we got a cake. So this cake right here on this little guy, my sister brought this to a holiday party that we had several years ago. So I just picked it up and said, hey, happy birthday to you, celebrate birthday. And then she goes, where are you taking my cake? Oh, just give me a minute, I'm just doing a social media. So happy anniversary, make sure you're reaching out to them on happy anniversary. So these are just things that you have to have. About these, and bomb and stuff, you can have these completely set, and then forget it. Client Giant, have you heard of Client Giant? Okay. If you guys don't want to, because I've got some other gifts, these are client appreciation parties, retention parties, Google card. Like I give gifts out, these are like spring boxes, my wife does them. They're like boxes of things that actually go out to different clients and people like celebrating, And then I'm taking my vendors that actually have coupons in there, so my window cleaners, my carpet cleaners, everybody, and I'm putting a coupon in there, so then they actually then get a better discount. So I help provide business for my vendors, so that my vendors love me more to be their favorite. Okay? And so, but you have a VIP. And I call it the loyalty program. Because you don't have a loyalty program, because clients right now have the least amount of loyalty right now than they ever have in the world, right? But if you call it the loyalty program, you will be loyal to me. Okay? What you want? Does you have a question?
I just want to commend you because as an affiliate, you do a lot of really nice things for your vendors, and I acknowledge that. Because, I just want to say thank you because you just don't take care of your clients, you also take care of your vendors. So,
Thank you. Very welcome. So we have vendor parties. Feed them. They like food. Okay? But I love it. We do it the last couple of times we've actually had it at my house, which is kind of fun. It's kind of nice too. But these are some of the boxes. So like that, this right here, this applesauce right here, Hatch made, my wife made applesauce, and those came from a tree of a listing that we were trying to get up in Grass Valley, that I came back the next, said, I know you got so many apples, do you mind? I didn't get the listing yet. I said, do you mind if we come over and pick some apples? You shared that we could do that because I'm going to give client gifts. So it was homemade applesauce, and after I'm picking it, I'm building more rapport, and then a week later says, we picked you to be our agent. So I'm not picking your trees, but you want to pick me? That's great. Alright, so but like we do like different things, so find some fun things. Some people in this room really like crumble cookies, so that's kind of fun. I like those too. So, but you want to have this is a nice Perk Your Sphere. It's a book, it's really thin read. This is where I got a lot of this. Some girl that knows Perk Your Sphere. It's a really cool book, small. And this was like pizza and milestones. If you see somebody who has like I'm ripping out my kitchen right now, number one, I felt bad because I should have used my vendors on that. But number two, he says, we're ripping our kitchen, here's a picture of my kitchen. You see that on social media. So what did I do? I text her or DM'd her, says, hey, it looks like you're remodeling your kitchen. What would you like tonight? Chinese, Mexican, on a DoorDash, some food. She was my 5th grade teacher. I told my 7th grade teacher, I must have been a good student, but I didn't think I was then. My 5th grade teacher and my 7th grade teacher, I've actually recently sold their houses, which is kind of fun that they remember me. All right, but you better have a client questionnaire. You better be asking your clients, where their favorite restaurant is, so then you can spoil them later when they call you a year later. How'd you know my favorite restaurant was, this or that? And so you give them some of those, but really it comes down to just ask for the business. Don't leave a listing appointment to go, great, what do you think? You say, are you ready to get started? And if they tell me no, and they say something like, I'm kind of, I'm going to meet some other people, then back up. I know that's a whole negotiation class, but I back up and say, well, what's the real reason? Okay? Because they're literally, you're happy with my price? Yes. You're happy with my marketing? Yes. Do you really want to spend another hour tomorrow with another real estate agent and then spend all this time? But if you're happy going now, why don't we just go? I took the listing right then and there. The issue there is that if I would have left, guess what happens? There's a lot of good people in here. Mm-hmm. They just kind of, sometimes I lost one the other day because they kind of took somebody that came in behind me and they said, Eric, I like both of you, and we just say, it was easy. They were in front of me. Here we go.
You bring a listing?
I think it was you.
What? I was.
No.
Do you bring a listing agreement with you?
I do.
Okay.
I felt bad. I lose a lot. I waste a lot of paper.
Yeah.
And I do them double-sided, so I save paper. But I do bring it with me because I want to sign it right then and there. And now I'm actually having commitment letters. Because the one I lost the other day, if I would have signed a commitment letter and says, don't make any decisions without coming back and talking to me first, it's a commitment letter. And they sign it. You're not looking at selling your house for 3-4 months. Here's a commitment letter that doesn't, it's not like forcing you to sell with me, but we feel if we have good rapport, that's great. I took 3 listings this week that actually put on the MLS thing. I put like April 15th, April 17th, and put it on there because I'm taking the listing right now because I lost that one. So
I like that because sometimes you talk to someone and they're like 6 months to a year out, and you're not going to take a listing. You're not going to sign a listing agreement at that point. So you're just hoping no one else is going to come in. Because I've lost listings like that too. Someone swooped in.
Yeah, their relative, their license or something. Yeah, so they do. They swoop in and then, it wasn't anything against you. Yeah. But it was just timing on them. But now I have a commitment letter that says, hey, you're committing to work with me. I'm committing to work with you. Here's my things. Then please, if there's any questions, just a small, simple letter that you guys can do. 2 minutes. All right. Okay, I want you to share this with you. I have 3 slides left. What your career should look like. You ready? I thought this was brilliant. Because do you know how many times people have been in this market doing a lot of work and this, flips, the bank, back in the bank repo days where we made so much money for who? Your clients. You know what the average money for retirement for real estate agents is? It's like when they decide to stop selling real estate.
$80,000.
It's like $50,000 or $60,000 at this stage. So why are we not going and buying the stuff that we are really good at making wealth for other people? So 1 to 5 years, get good at what you're doing, treat it as a university degree. You must nail getting clients, keeping the clients, and getting referrals. Because in your 6 to 10, that's when your referral and your repeat business starts coming back. And then it comes. Because with 31 years of real estate, I have so much repeat business that just comes. Because why? because I put in the time, because I took care of my people. Not everybody will come back to you, but there's the majority will. So acquire. Look at getting some other real estate, doing something.
Are you buying stuff in California or out of state?
I love my tenants in California. It's good. I have a harder time with my tenants in Nevada than I do in California. Okay? So, but it's important. So it took me like 15 years to realize maybe I should start buying something for myself. And you guys know the good deals will drop into your lap, and then you go, hey, maybe I would be interested in this. But it's a little easier to find somebody else's property versus you buying your own listings, because it's kind of like, well, wait, you want to buy my listing? But, it's like, it kind of gets a little bit dicey, so cautious and careful on there. But there's a lot of people that do a lot of owner carrying. They're still out there. So you can find it. And then 10 years, live the life on your terms. I know there's a lot of people who are over the 10 years or doing 10 years of business in here. We feel like we're living our life on. It wasn't my slide, but we are. We're close to it. But I really like it. It's what I had last week. So, guys, here's my wife's favorite thing from last week's conference. Opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. Okay? So make sure you just work. I know there's a lot of firewoods and a lot of stuff. Somebody asked at one of these conventions once when I was speaking, and I said, how long did it take you to do all this? 30 years. Yeah, so it takes a long time. So I want you to implement. If there's something that came in today, implement one thing and build that pillar and become successful and make that automatic for you, and then start the next pillar. But right now, you should have business development things on a goal list. Over here, the stuff that when you're a little bit slower, you can build on it, and attack those, and make yourself the superpower in real estate. All right, thank you.
Pauline has a little something for you.
Oh, thank you.